This is a true psychological trap that feels like a dream until it becomes a nightmare. It starts with intensity texts that never stop, compliments that feel intoxicating, gifts, grand gestures, promises of forever. You feel seen, chosen, special, like you've finally found the person who understands you in a way no one else ever has. But that's the bait. This isn't love. Your brain begins associating this person with intense reward, compliments, attention, validation. It becomes addictive, and once the chemical bond is strong enough, they can start pulling it away. One moment you're everything, they call you their soulmate. You might hear things like, "You're too sensitive," or "I never said that," or "You're imagining things." But no matter how much love you give, it's never enough. That's because it was never about mutual love. It was about power. This confusion isn't accidental. It's psychological erosion. They want to dismantle your self-trust so you're easier to control. Real love doesn't rush, it doesn't confuse. It doesn't manipulate, it grows slowly with honesty and mutual respect. The next, they're cold, distant, accusing, cruel. The villain isn't always obvious. Sometimes they're the one holding flowers. Sometimes they're the one saying "I love you" too soon, and sometimes they're the one you still miss because they were never real. Because you're empathetic, because you're kind, because you believe in love. And that's not a weakness, that's your strength. The goal now isn't to stop being loving it as to protect that love from those who seek to exploit it. You try to recreate the love they once gave you, but that love was a tool, not a truth. The mechanism is always the same: overwhelm someone emotionally, make them dependent, then slowly take it away, replacing it with control, fear, and confusion. Victims often don't see it until they're deep inside it. You have to rebuild your sense of self, piece by piece, after someone has systematically dismantled it. And you have to accept that the person who once made you feel like you were everything was using that feeling as a weapon. You may tell yourself, "But they were so amazing in the beginning," not realizing that beginning was an act. That version of them, the one who adored you, praised you, pursued you, that person never truly existed. They were a mirror reflecting back your deepest desires. It's not just manipulation, it's psychological warfare. It's like being addicted to a drug you didn't know you were taking, and now withdrawal begins. That's when the shift begins, subtle at first, a delayed text here, a passive-aggressive comment there. Suddenly, you're not sure where you stand. You start chasing the version of them you met at the beginning, but that version never really existed. It's love bombing, a manipulative tactic designed to control, confuse, and ultimately destroy you. Love bombing is the opening act of emotional warfare. It's the high before the crash. A manipulator, whether a narcissist, sociopath, or abuser, knows that overwhelming affection is the fastest way to hook you. You're perfect, they say. They've never felt this way before. You might hear talk of marriage in the first week. You might be introduced to their family after a few days. The connection feels magical, as if you've known each other forever. But this isn't about love, it's about domination. The manipulator's goal is to disarm you with affection, so you let your guard down completely. You're not falling in love, you're being conditioned. Like a frog slowly boiled in water, you don't notice the danger because everything feels so warm at first. You begin to blame yourself. Maybe I did something wrong, you think. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. You become hooked on trying to fix a connection that was built on manipulation from the start. It begins fast, too fast. They want to spend every second with you. Psychologically, love bombing works because it creates dopamine dependency. This is the cruel genius of love bombing. They create a fantasy version of themselves, then punish you for not living up to their expectations. It's psychological whiplash. At this stage, the manipulator flips the script. They may begin gaslighting you, making you question your memory, your feelings, your worth. You start doubting your instincts. You replay conversations in your head. You apologize for things you didn't do. You try harder. Love bombing often appears in toxic relationships, cults, even in recruitment tactics for extremist groups. What makes love bombing so dangerous is that it doesn't feel like abuse at first. Escaping love bombing takes immense strength. You have to grieve a relationship that felt real but was rooted in illusion, but healing is possible. Once you recognize the signs, you begin to see the pattern, the too fast affection, the sudden shifts, the emotional chaos disguised as passion. If you're rewatching this and you recognize yourself in this story, know this: it wasn't your fault. You weren't naive, you were targeted. Love bombing may look like the beginning of a fairy tale, but it is often the prologue to a psychological horror story.